Well, it's better late than never. So I promised this movie review sometime around what was it? Saturday, I think. And I think I promised it either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, one of those three. But it's whatever. Today, reviewing something near and dear to my heart, and that is The Dark Crystal. Bring that up in the light a little bit. Yes, The Dark Crystal. So this is a Jim Henson movie, so you should automatically know it's pretty old. But to me, anyway, as a fantasy lover, in a sense, it has aged very well. It's going to fix my lighting a bit. Usually I take care of that before recording, but I'm a little slow today. Alright. The Dark Crystal. I guess I'll just give a quick summary, so you know what that means, right? Spoilers. Ugh, they're scary. Alright. So, in this world, there were these really powerful creatures. They were like... It's like... a race of like super beings almost. They had this thing called the Dark Crystal, but one day the crystal cracked, presumably because from what you see in the movie, one of those beings did it, and we never find out why. But after the crystal cracked, those beings split into two different species. One was the mystics, who were calm and wise, and they're nature wizards, and the Skeksis, who are these ugly-looking bird creatures, who they're very evil, but they're hilarious to watch on screen. To me, anyway, they amuse me. And they take control of the castle, and they just basically go around, doing evil things. And not long after they had split, there came a prophecy saying that a Gelfling, which is another species, would find the shard that was cracked from the crystal, put it back in the crystal, and end the Skeksis' evil rule. So the Skeksis heard about it, and they killed all the Gelfling, except for two. One is Jen, and the other is Kira. Now, Jen was adopted by the Mystics, so he's very intelligent and raised, I guess, with all sorts of different wizardous ways, even though he doesn't really use magic or anything like that. They are natural wizards, so they're kind of like mystic scientists in a way. So, before Jen's master dies, the master tells him that he must go find the shard from the Dark Crystal and end the Skeksis' evil rule. So his master dies, and he does just that. And along the way, he finds Kira. Now, Kira, the other Gelfling, was adopted by Podlings, another race. Which the Podlings, they get kidnapped and used as slaves by the Skeksis. But, anyway. So they ended up going through all sorts of little adventures here and there, encountering the Skeksis army, the Garthim. They're just basically big dumb brutes. And, eventually they succeed. The, Mystics and the Skeksis become one again. And so ends the tale of the Dark Crystal. I guess first I'll start with reviewing the plot. It's a lot different than what you would usually find in movies nowadays. That's probably because it's old, and around actually this time there were a lot of different fantasy-like movies that were going about, and that I think I have a few more of with me here. But, anyway. So the plot's fairly simple, but it's interesting enough for me anyway for me to want to watch it. And the puppets are so great. Like when you think, you know, when you know that these are puppets, like when you receive that information, if you couldn't tell by watching the movie, you would think that these are like real creatures. I mean, these things look awesome. They look really, really cool. So, of course, that's, you know, Jim Henson and his amazingness. And if you don't know who Jim Henson is, ever heard of Kermit the Frog? Yeah, that was Jim Henson's puppet. And just so many other movies. He did Labyrinth, the Labyrinth puppets as well. And they're just so good. They really are. I'm going to start doing like my reviews in categories, rating the plot on a scale from 1 to 10, the characters, and the ending, because the ending has to, you know, usually bring some sort of satisfaction, or it can be a cliffhanger. So, the plot, I'm going to give a 7. Not too high, but high enough to give it some credit, because like I said, this movie's fairly old, so the plot's not like super complicated or anything. But it's simply good. So that's why it got a 7. The characters, 10. Straight up, I'm just going to say 10, alright? Because they're all of them are enjoyable to watch. You won't get super annoyed with any of the characters in this movie. They're all fun. Even the bad guys, the Skeksis, and, you know, it's just, the characters are great. I mean, that's all there is to it. And they're very pleasing to look at as well. I thought that's something I might add. All of them, when you look at the characters move on screen, it's very satisfying to see that these puppets are moving kind of realistically. So straight up 10 on the characters. And the ending. Well, usually with what I phrase as one-shot stories, meaning it's just one movie, one plot, no sequels. The ending's usually what the outcome was supposed to be. And they succeeded by a bit of a hair. By a bit. It was a little bit bigger than usual hairs. And by that, if you don't know what I mean, he almost had trouble getting in the end, but he was able to do it. But seeing the combination of the Mystics and the Skeksis was super mystifying and just, like, makes you think, wow, this world, like, and these guys are just, like, let me fix my hat, just, like, it was pretty cool, alright? So I'm going to give the ending a solid 8.5. Oh, man. So, overall, this would be sort of like a really good movie to watch with, you know, your 12 and younger teenage years children. Or little kids, if you want to introduce them to, you know, a bit of a darker fantasy movie. Because there are some dark things in here. But it's got nothing like cursing or... And I don't remember seeing any blood. There probably is hidden in there somewhere that I haven't seen, but you never really know. I don't think there's any blood in there. Would I recommend you see it? If, well, that really depends. Like I said, it's an old movie, and for me it's aged well because I saw this when I was littler, and I loved it. So if you like old puppet movies, or old dark fantasy movies, and you don't mind that they're played out with puppets, you should definitely give it a look. And if you're looking to add it to your collection of movies, it's definitely worth the buy, whatever price you find it at. Not if it's something ridiculous like over $20, because I would, even if I like would go to conventions dressed as some of these characters. I would not pay $20 for a copy of the Dark Crystal. That's a bit ridiculous. But anyway, so you should definitely see this movie if you're into the dark fantasy scene, because it's awesome. All right. And yeah, if you enjoyed this one, do whatever. I don't care if you like and subscribe, but definitely give me feedback, because I'm always looking for that. And I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I think I might actually just pick random movies that I've put here, and we'll do something a little more, I guess, action-oriented, because the movie reviews I've done so far have been of a horror movie, which wasn't very good at all. If you saw that one, you would know. And of this one, dark fantasy. So I'm going to do something action next time. And I might just, keep picking random things throughout that. So that was it for today. Put that back on the shelf, and I'll see you guys later.